What is going on, guys? This is Marcia here with another episode of the Lady Strong Fitcast. And today we have none other than Coach Allison. Her and I, we're going to be talking about how she went beyond the gym and the coach's journey.
So the big question is this. How were two women who didn't cheat and purchase a gym franchise model, how were they able to spread their mission and purpose by empowering and transforming hundreds of women's lives through fitness, nutrition, mindset, and accountability with a micro gym business model of women only? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. We are Lady Strong Fitness.
How are you today, Allison?
Good. A little sleepy.
That's all right. So I brought you on here today because we've been getting a lot of feedback inside the studio from different members on how they would love to hear more about our coaches and how they got started in their fitness and wellness journey. And it's pretty inspiring, to say the least, and it gives people the opportunity to get to know you a little bit better outside of just coaching them in a class. So with that being said, if you could, I know who you are, but maybe for some of our ladies who are listening in today, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, fitness kind of stuck with me since I was little. When I believe I was 4 when I started gymnastics, and I really gotten serious with it. All through middle school, and it was just high school when I decided to quit. All through it, I got into competing. I was very serious about it. And then eventually I had some medical issues happen where I discovered I had a pelvic ring tilt. So it was, I guess as I grew, I started getting more pain in my hip and pain in my lower back. It caused a little scoliosis in my sacroiliac. So it was like gymnastics wasn't it for me anymore. So I decided to stick with orchestra, but from there I didn't want to give up fitness. And after taking a little break after middle school, and then high school came around, and then I dabbled with my friend who was on the track team, and so I'd go running with her. And I just thought that cardio was everything. And that's normally where the mindset is when you're young, and it's like, oh, I just got to run everything off. And I got to eat as little as possible. And you're looking at the people around you. In high school, it's just that awkward phase where it's like, okay, I need to look like everyone around me. So I kind of got really obsessed with all cardio and issues with my food. And then my junior year, my neighbor who lives 2 doors down from me, he's done bodybuilding competitions since the 80s. And so he won his 6th competition back in 2009 in Kentucky. And so he's still every day hard in his garage working out, and he's amazing for someone who's 62. And so one day he saw me running, and he's like, I see you running all the time. How much do you run? And I'm like, I go 6 miles. And even if it's bad weather, I'm running on a hamster on my treadmill in the garage. And he's like, kid, it's not it. What are you eating? He's like, I've seen your gymnastics competitions. What are you doing? And so he sat me down, and he unlocked this whole new world of weightlifting and bodybuilding. And he's like, I'm not going to have you all jacked up, but I want to keep you on the right track. And so that sort of stuff teetered me down from having to run 6 miles every day to lifting weights and then going for a short run, getting the cardio in after. And then that sparked my love for nutrition. So college came around, and I was still working out. I was into LSF at this point from my mom. And then from there, I did master's in culinary, and I decided to do a dual master's in nutrition because they kind of go hand in hand. And I'm tired of people saying, oh, in order to eat healthy, you got to eat boring, and it's tasteless, and it's no fun. And I kind of want to be that little guiding hand where it's like, no, I can give you a recipe on what tastes good and how you can make eating fulfilling and enjoyable and healthy without it being so boring.
I love that. Let's go back for a second and we'll talk more about your cooking, because I've had the opportunity to have some of your delicious cooking. But let's talk about how your mother introduced you to Lady Strong, because at that time, we had a sidebar conversation prior to this episode airing. You were just a little child. You were a teenager at that point. I think you said you were 18. So starting out as a member at 18, I mean, it's like, did you feel as though when your mother introduced you to the community that it was pulling teeth, or were you did you feel somewhat of encouragement by it? Like, what was, because at one point or time you were just coming in for like drop-ins, and then it turned into like, okay, I need to be a part of the community. What was it for you at such a young age that triggered you to like indulge more into that fitness side of things?
Uh, it's actually really funny. Um, I know since you have opened, and you were Midwest Performance, my mom was going there and she was dragging me over, so I got to see, like, the whole evolution and different locations of your gym, and she's like, "You gotta join," and I'm like, I don't know. I do like your gym, but I'm not into a group atmosphere. I didn't really like being around people. I felt really weird working out around people or more than one person at a time, and I'm like in my head, I'm like, "I already have my routine." I'm like a creature of habit where it's like, "Okay, I already have my workout for the week. I know what I'm working on day to day," and I'm kinda scared to change that because I don't know how it's gonna interfere with that, and then it was like I turned 18, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, this will keep me motivated, and it'll shut my mom up from begging me to come join the gym, and, over time, I really enjoyed it. I got to meet so many wonderful coaches that have coached there, wonderful owners, and just really good memories, and I got to spend more time with my mom, like I don't already spend time with her enough. Um, and it kind of gave me a whole new world of fitness too, where, like, I'm not used to group training, and now I'm like, I'm used to PT. I worked just one-on-one, and now I can see how great it can be and how motivating it can be to be around surrounded by like-minded women, at different levels and having that encouragement not only from your coach, but from those around you.
Yeah.
So I
I
kinda
think
liked it.
for me, and based on my observation and getting an opportunity to get to know you over the course of, I wanna say, like, 6 years, which is freaking crazy to know that you've been there, like you said, the evolution of Lady Strong, where we rebranded and we are in a smaller location, moving to a bigger location. I think seeing you evolve over those years and seeing, even from my perspective, like, your body awareness, you picked up on things really quickly. In my opinion, you almost moved your body in ways that, athletes kind of perform, and going at faster pace and going really heavy and focusing on heavier weight at a faster pace. And it was all these things that accumulated to kind of where you are today. But it was more or less is like, okay, this girl is great from a fitness perspective, but let's see what she has from like a knowledge perspective and give her the opportunity to be a part of something bigger than just a member inside our community, which kind of prompted us to, almost, was it 2 years ago, where we're like, "Hey, we have a spot open for you to, you know, be a coach." And you took on that like it was you day one, like, it was very easy for you to transition from that member role to that coaching role, and then, like you said, now you're doing not just group classes, but you're also doing semi-private, like, almost like one-on-one style training. So, to see where you first started versus where you are today says a lot about your growth and your mindset, and it's one of those things where we give you task and you take on ownership and you're like, "I got this," and it's not even from, I think people need to learn that it's not even from a coaching perspective, but just how you live your life in general. When we give you new things like, "Hey, we have this opening up," like, for instance, like new task and within your position, and you're like, "Ah, I don't know, let me think about it." And you're like, "Okay, I'm ready. Let's do this." So it's like, I'm hoping people can see more of that side of you. Not only you're a great coach, but you're also great within your position outside of the coaching side of things. And then let's talk about your cooking before we start talking about our final end with advice. But giving your background in cooking, I think I want people to understand, if you're listening in today, that you have so much more to offer than just fitness. Like you said, with your experience with your education and background and getting a culinary degree, but I've had the opportunity to taste some of your food, one of which being the amazing pie that you made for, or no, it was a cheesecake. It was a
Key lime
cheesecake.
cheesecake.
Yeah. But I think that I encourage people who are listening in today is to please pick Allison's brain when it comes to the nutrition side of things, because I think you'll be amazed. Like, if you thoroughly enjoy her as a coach, I encourage you to spend some time with her outside of class, asking her questions like, hey, how can I work on XYZ? Because I promise you, she has an answer. So with that being said, Allison, I do want to, and I like to end each episode with asking this one question. And I'm going to put a little twist on it because you're in not only a coaching role, but if someone's on the fence about joining Lady Strong Fitness, or if someone that is stuck in the rut that's currently a member, what would your advice be for them? And then number two, if someone is interested in joining our team, what would be your advice for them as well? So two different sides of the spectrum, but I want you to answer both. Please spill the tea.
For a member's perspective, if you're stuck and you've hit sort of like a plateau, just know you become a member here with so many doors open, so many helping hands, not only from like the staff or your coaches, but from other members. Because odds are, if you're going through like a certain circumstance, someone else is too, the exact same, if not a little different, but on the same path. My semi-private ladies are a huge example. It's insane hearing these women's stories and having like all like 4 people in one room just talking about that. It's like, it's a huge support system. And it's the same way in group training too. So there's always someone here that can give you that boost, give you that helping hand, and give you that help. For a professional standpoint, someone who's becoming a coach or a front salesperson, being open, honest about how you're feeling. I definitely struggled with that from the start. I was like terrified, ready to pee myself because I was so nervous and tripping over my words. And I still do to this day, but it's being honest and saying, hey, I am really freaking scared. It goes a long way. Being honest when you're struggling, because you will get that help and support. We're all here for each other.
Yes, I love that. So it's taking advantage of the resources, not only from the members' perspective, but also from a staffing perspective. But Allie, I do enjoy talking to you, even outside of this episode. It's always a pleasure. But ladies, thank you so much for tuning in of another episode of Lady Strong Fitcast. Have an amazing day, and we'll catch you on the next episode, guys. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us today. If you like this episode, subscribe to our YouTube channel or find our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or whatever your favorite place is to listen to podcasts. And if you really liked this episode, please leave a review for us on iTunes. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.